Day in the life of an INFJ. What it's like to live a day in the life of an INFJ. One of the rarest, most introspective, and mystically misunderstood personality types in the Myers-Briggs universe. Imagine a day where deep thoughts, empathy overload, and quiet moments of world-saving inspiration collide with the need for alone time. Yes, being an INFJ is kind of like starring in your own secret superhero movie, but with fewer explosions and more intense overthinking. Let's dive into what that actually looks like in real life. 6:30 a.m., waking up to the world's problems. The alarm goes off, and while many people's first thought is about their breakfast or outfit for the day, the INFJ wakes up and immediately feels the emotional atmosphere. Is the world still a mess? How can we fix it? Did that stranger at the grocery store yesterday really seem upset? Is there some kind of cosmic imbalance happening? INFJs often wake up already thinking about the feelings and needs of others. Before their feet even hit the floor, they're mentally scanning their to-do list for the day, which somehow always involves solving both personal and global problems. It's a lot, but hey, someone's got to do it, right? 8:00 a.m., the morning routine with overthinking. By now, the INFJ has had their breakfast, which they probably ate while reading a book about how to create world peace. Their morning routine involves more than just brushing teeth and getting dressed. It's also a time to mentally prepare for the emotional roller coaster of the day ahead. There's likely a moment spent staring into the mirror, not out of vanity, but because they're pondering the meaning of existence. Am I living my true purpose? Is this day going to make a difference? This mini existential crisis might sound exhausting, but for an INFJ, it's just part of every morning. 9:00 a.m. work mode, or the deep thinker's playground. Whether an INFJ works from home, in an office, or at a creative job, they approach their tasks with a mix of perfectionism and strategic detachment. While their colleagues might be chatting about the latest TV shows, the INFJ is lost in deep thought, probably dreaming up ways to improve the company's structure or how to single-handedly change the world. They tend to work alone, even in group settings, often lost in their own minds. Oh, and small talk? Yeah, INFJs prefer to skip that. Let's fast forward to meaningful conversations about human nature and emotional well-being, shall we? 12:00 p.m. lunchtime, but also emotional recharge time. For most, lunch is a time to recharge physically, but for an INFJ, it's all about emotional recharging. By noon, they've already absorbed enough emotional energy from others to power a small city, and they need a break. This is the time they sneak away to a quiet spot, maybe with a good book or some deep meditation. The world around them might see a calm, peaceful figure, but in the INFJ's mind, they're busy analyzing every conversation from the morning, processing their own feelings, and formulating world-changing plans. 2:00 p.m., the empathy burnout phase. The early afternoon is prime time for empathy burnout. By now, the INFJ has probably spent hours listening to coworkers vent, helping friends via text, and subtly picking up on all the unspoken emotions in the room. It's exhausting. This is when they hit that wall and think, I just can't with people right now. But of course, INFJs can't completely shut off their empathy, so they retreat mentally, if not physically, while still appearing polite and engaged. It's like being in stealth mode. 5:00 p.m. Quiet time, please. After a long day of interacting with people, even in small doses, INFJs need to retreat into their inner sanctum. Whether that's curling up with a book, taking a walk in nature, or journaling their thoughts, they need quiet time to decompress and sort through their emotions. They don't just reflect on what happened during the day. They'll also spend this time analyzing why things happened, how they can improve situations, and what the deeper meaning behind it all is. Yes, they go that deep, always. 7:00 p.m., the evening deep dive. As the evening rolls in, INFJs enter their natural habitat. Introspective conversations and alone time. This is the perfect time for those long, deep conversations with a trusted friend or loved one. About the meaning of life, of course. INFJs crave meaningful connections, and they'll skip right over small talk to dive into a heart-to-heart about their dreams, fears, and philosophies. They might also spend the evening expressing their thoughts through a creative outlet, writing, painting, or making music. Anything that allows them to release the emotional buildup from the day. 9:00 p.m. winding down, but the mind's still racing. You'd think by now the INFJ would be ready to turn off their brain and relax. Nope. They're still thinking. In fact, bedtime is often when they do their deepest thinking. As they lie in bed, they replay the day's events, overanalyzing interactions and planning for the next day. Did I say the right thing to that person? Could I have handled that situation better? These questions swirl in their mind as they try to make sense of it all. It's a never-ending process, but it's what makes INFJs so uniquely thoughtful and emotionally attuned. They just can't help it. 10:12 p.m. Finally sleep, or maybe not. After a day filled with introspection, empathy, and deep thinking, the INFJ finally drifts off to sleep. Or at least they try. Often, the thoughts continue swirling long into the night as their mind tries to solve everyone's problems, not just their own. It's both a blessing and a curse to have a brain that never truly turns off. But that's the INFJ way. Always thinking, always feeling, and always striving to make the world a better place. A day in the life of an INFJ. It's a mix of emotional intensity, deep thought, and quiet reflection. It's both a gift and a challenge, but INFJs wouldn't have it any other way. Their ability to see the world in a uniquely profound and empathetic way makes them stand out. And although it can be overwhelming at times, it's this depth of feeling and thought that makes them so special. If you're an INFJ, embrace your quirks and your power to make the world a better place. And if you're not, now you have a little glimpse into the mystical, emotional adventure that is the INFJ's everyday life.